Hello and welcome back to Popcorn Chore. Conditionals are one of the most common grammar structures in English to talk about possible outcomes, whether it's about facts, predictions, hypothetical situations, or past regrets.
It's not a case of whether or not I agree, it's a fact. If I were a single parent,
Are you a single parent?
Yeah, but if I had
tits, Steve, they would double the money.
Today, we'll look at the 4 types of conditionals: 0, first, second, and third, using clips from some of your favorite shows. Let's get started. Conditional sentences are divided into 2 parts: the condition, normally followed by an if, and the result. The order is interchangeable. If you help me, I'll pay you is the same as saying, I'll pay you if you help me. Be careful. If you're writing the if clause at the end, you'll have to remove the comma. Try to spot the if clause and the result clause in this clip.
And if you tell me any more crap about heading towards the light or looking down on me from heaven, I swear I will kill you myself right now.
You're a bad drunk. When you drink, you get mean.
This is an example of the 0 conditional. We use it to talk about facts or things that are always true. The structure is simple: if or when, plus the present tense, followed by another present tense verb.
When you drink, you get mean.
Both are in the present tense because it's a fact. It happens every time. Frank is implying that Fiona gets mean every time she drinks. This conditional is also used to give instructions, using the imperative in the main clause.
If you see my boyfriend, tell him I had some tuna salad and a yogurt. Now I'm off to the OR.
Next, we have the first conditional. We use this to talk about possible or likely outcomes in the future. The structure here is if or when plus the present tense, followed by will and an infinitive.
If you thumbsuckers don't stop whining, I swear I won't show you what's behind this door.
In this Grey's Anatomy clip, Miranda is referring to her interns as thumbsuckers, implying they are acting like children who suck their thumbs. She's frustrated with their constant complaints and lack of focus and is promising a result or consequence to their actions. Oh, and by the way, you can also use unless in the same way as if not. Instead of if you thumbsuckers don't stop whining, you can say unless you thumbsuckers stop whining. Same meaning, different structure.
If you knew this was your last day on Earth, how would you want to spend it?
Now we move on to the second conditional, which is all about imaginary, unlikely, or impossible situations. The structure here is if plus the past simple, followed by would and an infinitive.
If it were me, I wouldn't even have the test. I mean, what's the point? We're all gonna die anyway, right?
Also, notice something special. In second conditionals, we use were instead of was with I or he, she, it. Finally, we have the third conditional, which we use to talk about past situations that didn't happen but could have led to different outcomes if things had been different. The structure is if plus the past perfect, followed by would have and a past participle.
Straight answer, if I hadn't busted my skull for you tonight, would you have looked at me twice?
In this episode, Steve already got injured in the club, and he's wondering if Fiona would have noticed him had not been for the heroic act.
Straight answer, if I hadn't busted my skull for you tonight, would you have looked at me twice?
So let's recap. Conditionals come in 4 types: 0 conditional for facts, if you heat water, it boils. First conditional for likely future outcomes, if you don't study, you'll fail. Second conditional for hypothetical or imaginary situations, if I were rich, I'd buy a house. Third conditional for past regrets, if I had studied, I would have passed the test. Now that you know the structures, try spotting these conditionals in your favorite TV shows and movies.
If it wasn't for me, Lip would be dead right now. If it wasn't for me, Lip would be dead right now.
Why don't you just ask her yourself?
I would if I knew where she was. I would if I knew where she was.
So if you're out of work, file for disability or welfare or get a job. So if you're out of work, file for disability or welfare or get a job.
If you actually knew how to read, maybe you'd understand. If you actually knew how to read, maybe you'd understand.
I can page you if there's any problems.
I'll stay. If you want me to stay, I'll stay. If you want me to stay, I'll stay.
Yeah, but if I
if I had tits, Steve, they would double the money.
Yeah, but if I
if I had tits, Steve, they would double the money.
If you don't like it, leave. If you don't like it, leave.
I bet if it had been Fiona, softball girl would have taken that for a spin. I bet if it had been Fiona, softball girl would have taken that for a spin.
If you love someone, you tell them. If you love someone, you tell them.
If you miss curfew, you'll violate the terms of your probation and you can go back to jail. If you miss curfew, you'll violate the terms of your probation and you can go back to jail.
I'm gonna wear it, and I'm gonna wear it with pride. And if I have to pee in it, oh, I'll pee. Because I am a surgeon. And if I have to pee in it, oh, I'll pee.
Look, I'd rip your face off if it meant I got to scrub in. Look, I'd rip your face off if it meant I got to scrub in.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit subscribe for more fun lessons using real TV shows. See you next time.